What's happening, everybody? I hope you're all fantastic today. I'm Anthony. This is the Silver Screen Analysis. I have another episode of 80s Rewind for you guys. We're stepping back to 1989 today to talk about, the greatest dog movie ever made, Turner and Hooch, starring Tom Hanks as Scott Turner and the muffin-eating, beer-drinking, ball-licking French Mastiff Beasley as Hooch.
What is it? What? If you're hungry, finish the hamburgers. Eat the buns.
Now, this was the 1980s, and Tom Hanks wasn't Forrest Gump or Saving Private Ryan. He hadn't been cast away just yet. He had been nominated for Best Actor for his performance in Big the year prior, and he was still establishing himself as a dramatic actor, but Hanks was still very much a comedian at the time. Turner and Hooch would actually come during a bit of a post-nomination box office slump for Hanks, along with movies like The Burbs and Joe versus the Volcano and The Bonfire of the Vanities as the 90s kind of came rolling in. But we all know Hanks did pretty good in the 90s, and outside of Bonfire, all of those movies just mentioned, I think, are nostalgic classics.
As soon as that car leaves in the morning, I'm going over the fence, and I'm not coming back till I find a dead body.
However, Turner and Hooch was the lone financial success for Hanks during this run, and I think it's easy to see why. The film is just genuinely comical for all ages. I think it relies on exaggerated situations to generate humor and to build the friendship and relationship between Turner and Hooch, and the story blends in just enough action and drama to balance it all out without ever really trying too hard. Although, I'm not gonna lie, the wardrobes really could have used some work in this movie. I'm not exactly sure what Turner is attempting to do here by tucking his t-shirt into his undies. I guess if it was untucked, he'd look like he was naked underneath it. Were there no boxer shorts in the late 80s? I'm not really sure, because Turner does spend a good amount of time in his tight Fruit of the Looms in this movie. But to bring things back to topic, in the beginning of this movie, we meet our neat, single, and tidy, very orderly Turner at the closing of a normal day, and while it's all a bit mundane at first glance, outside of an extreme waste of dental floss, knowing this regimented, clean life will soon be upended by his co-star Hooch really is what makes it that much more funny. Turner plays a detective in a small, sleepy beach town. He's about to go out to the big city to take a promotion, so he's training his replacement, played by Reginald VelJohnson from Die Hard and Family Matters fame. They're a bit like oil and water as well. He keeps a dustbuster in his car, which is comical in its own right, but it further shows more of his neurotic tendencies, which I think Hanks plays up to nicely as just a precursor of what's to come for his life. After a couple odd couple tropes, they head out to see Turner's old friend Amos, and that's when we meet the glorious Hooch in all of his splendor. It's just a classic character intro, the music, the slow motion, all of it just works. And when poor Amos crosses with some shady activity out on the docks, we meet our villains and get our plot turn that's going to unite the greatest dog detective combo in movie history. Belushi tried it, Chuck Norris tried it, but Tom Hanks would reign supreme in the cheesy dog movie genre.
No begging for food, no sniffing of crotches, and you will not drink from my toilet.
And once Turner and Hooch meet up, it's just a barrage of lighthearted laughs and comedic moments as Hooch just destroys Turner's bachelor pad and upends his life in the most simplest but the most effective of ways. I think Hanks really shines comedically through Turner's frequent meltdowns. He has a ton of charisma in this role, and while it all may be a bit on the nose, Hanks' energy and just Hooch's charm will have you invested in taking this ride.
97.51.
97.51? What? Is that pesos? This is for a dog. This is dog food. 97.51?
Something else I always enjoy about Turner and Hooch is that if you've ever been a dog owner, there are so many elements and instances in this movie that are relatable to at some point. I think it just gives the comedic tone a more lasting impression. It's all silly, but it's well intended and sincere, so I think it hits effectively, and even without ever having been a dog owner, the physical comedy will have you cackling. And with a small-town crime ring, a foreseeable plot twist, and a simplistic but wholesome love story, there is no denying that there is a formulaic progression, but it's easily carried by Hanks' charming performance, his comedic timing, and his rapport with Hooch. Turner also has an endearing character arc through this film as he works the case and adjusts to Hooch and falls in love, and it's just textbook 80s cinema. Tossed in are some engaging splashes of action as Turner and Hooch and Sutton work this case. Craig T. Nelson comes in, and despite being a little bit foreshadowed, he certainly brings his personality and his screen presence to the movie to leave a solid impression, much like I would say Vel Johnson and Winningham do in their smaller roles. And to me, Turner and Hooch is just a charming little movie that doesn't veer out of its lane. It takes the material and it has fun with it, and it shows on screen with a nice pace, an even subplot progression, and plenty of just naturally comical dog moments. And I think it really does capture dogs as who they really are, with just a little bit of exaggeration. It doesn't have Hooch doing many things that a big old pup like him wouldn't be doing, and when blended with the comedic greatness of Tom Hanks, that is why this movie is such an amusing time to watch, no matter how many times you've seen it. So if you haven't seen this movie, I would recommend checking it out for sure. Definitely give it a shot. I think it's on Prime Video for like $3.99, and simply put, it's just a fun mental escape that gives you a little bit of an action comedy, a little bit of a rom-com, and a slight mystery, all wrapped up into the antics of Hooch, who is a certified scene stealer. And I mean, if you only know Tom Hanks from his dramatic roles, I recommend visiting his collection of 80s comedies because they are a great time warp back to the decade. Thanks for watching this video as always, guys. It's greatly appreciated, and I'll catch you at the movies.